after my son was born, things just really changed for me and our family because he was really struggling with his health and his well-being, and then I really went downhill too. And so we were just struggling and suffering and having all these problems, and I was always interested in a natural path of healing. I didn't know that much about it, but I had been reading, things over time because I had some health experiences before and ended up, the traditional types of medicine and healing didn't help me, so I ended up learning some things about some different types of alternative medicine. So I was, I started trying things immediately with him and trying things for me and trying more and more and more. And, there were improvements, but still we just struggled. We just struggled to thrive. And for him to live to his highest potential, he just couldn't do it. And I knew he was in there. I knew we could unlock it. I just didn't know how that was going to happen. So it was this decade-long period of time for me where I was just intensely researching and experiencing all these different modalities and techniques and, ways of thinking. And I read at least 100 books during that time, and it was really a spiritual awakening time for me. And again, we're getting better, but we're not there. Like we could barely eat. I mean, even after 10 years of trying all these different healing things, we still couldn't eat without reacting and feeling miserable. So, we're just struggling. And at one point, I had a friend who was kind of my spiritual awakening buddy. And I always thought she was so lucky because from the right when we started our journey, we were working with a healer, and she just completely opened up to all her intuition, like at one time. It was very intense. But so then I was asking her all the time for advice, of course, because I wasn't accepting my own and who I am. I was trying to be like how I thought you're supposed to be intuitive and how I thought everything's supposed to be, totally judging myself and not owning my individuality. And I remember at one point I just looked at her and I said, when am I going to find the way that works that's gentle enough for us to do? Because everything we try, although, a lot of people, Reiki, they don't even touch you. And I would scream. If anybody just thought about doing Reiki on me, I would just start to scream in pain. And my son, too, it was really intense. We really couldn't do anything. And she looked at me when I asked her that question, and she just looked me straight in the eye and said, "You're going to do it." And I'm going, are you kidding me? I'm so sick I can barely function. My son is screaming. I mean, what? We can't sleep, and we're just struggling. She goes, "No, you're going to do it, Janice." So I remembered that. I kept it in the back of my mind because I still couldn't find the way. I couldn't find the answer. And it got to a point, where it gets to a point, I think, where you reach this place and you realize that nothing's going to work. You reach the end of the line. And that happened to us when he was, I don't know how old he was at that. Well, I guess it was around 10, because it was about a decade. So, and I had the last chiropractor I went to is doing a laser treatment for allergies, trying something new. And he just looked at me and said, "Well, it's not working for you all, and you're just out of the parameters of this modality." And I just went, oh my God, because I said, I don't know what else to try. And we'd spent all thousands of dollars. And I went home and I prayed and I said, if you want me to live here, because I think I'm going to die, I can't keep going like this. And so if you want me to live here, you need to give me the information because I can't find it on earth. I couldn't find it. And I got a pen and I wrote it down, and I did it, and it worked. And that's what the Foundation System book is now that I share with everybody else. I wrote it as an entire book. I finally got the whole thing compiled after a while, but it worked. And so now we can be who we are and who we're supposed to be, and we can live our purpose and fulfill our missions for being here because we are finally grounded, we're finally healed, and we're finally thriving. And one of the things we had to remember was why it was so hard for us, it's so different for us than for other people, and why all the healers said, well, it works for everybody else, why doesn't it work for you? And we had to realize who we are and that there's nothing wrong with us for inherently who we are. And that's how the soul energy type stuff started, as we realized, okay, we're empaths, okay, let's figure out what that means exactly. And then let's go a little bit deeper now to see why, even as an empath, are we even so almost, to the extreme, ultra sensitive as compared to so many other people. And so we delve into it, really. I delve into channeling and figuring out the information because I wanted to understand myself and my son.